Pastor Steve, it's so wonderful to have you here
Great to be with you, Pastor
on
Francesco.
our channel, and we'll be talking about looking at ministry with different lenses.
Yeah.
And sometimes we misunderstand the people around us because they have a different lens
Yes.
that they use to interpret everything.
Yeah.
And we have talked about the belonging side. Which is major, for example, in a nation like Italy, where I am most of the time operating, is the biggest.
Yeah.
People are all about belonging. It's only for belonging. Church. And I often say, church is not supposed to be an hospital.
Yes.
Church as every church or a church should have an emergency room.
Yes. Yes. Good.
But is not an hospital.
Yeah.
You know, we are about the kingdom of God here, expanding the kingdom, building something, and this require, of course, for some people sometimes a time for healing, and like you were saying in one of the episodes, maybe to recover. But this doesn't mean that we stop doing what we are doing, because we are about building the house of God.
And you know, the Apostle Paul, you know, the passage we went back to, he talks about this person's my brother, he's my co-worker, fellow soldiers. And actually, if you read a lot of the letters, he's often talking about his co-workers. Like there is a thing, like we're all working together for this thing. Yeah. And in fact, in 1 Corinthians, when he describes his ministry, he uses two main pictures. One is of like a big horticultural, you know, vineyard, market garden, where different people have different jobs. And then he talks about a building project where someone lays the foundation, someone's building the walls. He's like, man, this is work. Ministry is work. Church is work. And we're actually working. And it's not really, again, it's not just to be consumers like, you know, family when the little baby arrives. Oh, we all look after the baby. But on a work site, it's like, hey, you're also here to work. And part of the dignity is, you know, we often say in church, you know, initially it's like, do I like this? And then the second one is, do they like me? But actually people feel like they belong when they answer the third question, like, do they need me? We're actually made to contribute.
True. And
we are actually working for something. So this building one is a really important. And I mean, like I said, read Paul, this co-worker, this co-worker, this co-worker. Man, there's a job to do.
Wow.
And the virtue which Jesus talks about of being found faithful in stewarding and working what's been entrusted to you.
Wow.
So I think it's a big deal in the New Testament, actually. So some people, like we said, some people say, "Oh, church is a family. It's not an organization. It's not an army." I don't want to sound rude, but it's like, man, you should read the Bible. We're all working. This is work. And I want to be found faithful. You know, I want to get to heaven and hear, well done, good and faithful servant.
Of course.
You worked with what I gave you.
Of course. And even remember the parable when Jesus was speaking about to the one who was given one, to the one 3, and to the one 5.
Yeah.
And then when the owner came back, there is one word that really stood up to me. He kind of approved the first one and the second one that did well. Yeah. But then when the third one was kind of giving the excuses, I put it in the bank because of this and that, and because you are known as someone that expect profit.
Yes.
That really stood up for me. Yeah. Because now the owner also re-mentioned it and he said, you knew I was expecting profit. Everything God gives us, He's expecting an outcome. He's expecting us to use it. He's expecting us to multiply, to steward. And I think it really fits well with what you are saying.
And the content, you are lazy. I mean, it's pretty hard. But you're like, church is a building site and it's a market garden. And there's work to do. And you know, we talk about an equipper's service is it's the nature of Jesus. I work and I serve for the master. And so, I think building's really important. And so, you know, what we did with this belong, build, battle for each one of them to say, hey, so if you don't have this, what's going to happen? But then if you only have this, what's going to happen? So I don't know if you've got any thoughts. Like if you don't have this build dimension to ministry, Yeah, what do you think?
Probably for me, I would say it comes natural, the building side. Also for my business background, I've always, when you have a business, you always think and expect some profit. You always do things for results. You want to move forward. You evaluate. You have standards. You have goals. You have objectives. Otherwise, there was no reason for existing. But sometimes I don't know why we have embraced in church this concept that there is no need to be organized. No need to reach any goal or to have goals. And I think if we do that, we are not faithful steward of what the Lord has entrusted us.
Well, I think, there is a big emphasis on the Bible on love and belonging, and we said, that is one of the lenses, but Jesus and Paul both said we work, and there's a whole lot more in that, like also, as a Pastor Bruce Monk as a farmer said, he's learned you don't just get immediate results, you sow, and then the next season you get a harvest, like you work away at things and things happen. So I think, in my experience, if people don't have this, people in their team actually get frustrated because things aren't organized, and people feel their time's not being valued. Oh, we're doing youth tonight, and I turn up and it's like, oh, sorry, we decided not to do it, and it's like you're wasting my time. So actually, people lose respect that you're not organized, ministry's not organized. So it's actually, our first value in Equippers is honor. We honor God, but we also honor people.
Of course.
And not just honor leaders. We want to honor our teams and our volunteers. So we respect their time by being organized, by being prepared. So it's like it shows a value on their time. So it's like, if I don't have this, that's important. But then, for each of them, we said, if you don't have this, what happens? But then if you only have this, what happens? And again, I said, when I've done this in teams with groups of people, I literally see people put their head in their hands, and you realize some people are like, again, my lens told me I was doing everything well, and they say, like, you're feeling like you're doing a good job because you're organized, all the rotas are done, the rosters, the KPIs are clear, the budgets are clear, but people are leaving. Why? Because there's no heart to it. There's no relationship, and there's no sense of cause, and it's just not fun. I love spending time with you and your team. There's life, there's fun, there's fellowship, but then we're trying to build something as well. And so again, I think for some people, if your default is the super administration, it's like, oh, maybe I need to put on some of those other lenses. But, your observation was maybe in your context, people actually need to dial up the value of this part of church and dial down that reaction that says, oh, church, we should all be family. There's too much focus on this. It's like, actually, this is a really biblical part of church.
I don't know if you ever heard the sentence that church is the only organization that primarily exists for the non-members. And instead we have turned, with our limited lens, church into a club, and it is about us. We are the members, so we have to please us, but we actually exist for those that are not yet with us. And it requires a willingness to plan and to move forward and to advance and to reach out and to build.
And Pastor Peter Prothero is quite good too. He's like, hey, we love visitors. When a visitor comes to our home, it's like, welcome, can I get you a drink, have a seat, serve the meal. But it's like, when you become family, actually it's like, hey, it's your turn to do the dishes. Hey, can you clean the room before people come? And it's like, and Peter Prothero says, hey, you're welcome to be a visitor as long as you want, but don't pretend that you're family because someone else is doing the work. And actually part of family is we actually work. If you're part of the family, you do the dishes, you take out the rubbish, you clean the floors. That working is actually part of that.
And it is actually an honor to serve in the house of God, to serve in the kingdom. And sometimes people see it more like, oh, if I go to that church, then I need to serve. And but this is also a consumer mentality.
Yes.
Which I believe one of the greatest thing. Personally, with my wife and the team, we often talk about it. One of the greatest gifts that the Lord has given us is, number one, heaven. He saved us from hell. But number two, He saved us also from the chair. From a light without a purpose. The house of God is now our purpose. Developing the kingdom is a greater purpose than ourselves. And I think there is no greater blessing than that.
And I think from the outside, people can look in and like, oh, they're just using you or whatever. From the inside, you're like, this is the nature of Jesus, to serve. And we love His house and we want to serve in His house. And actually, God's given me ministry gifts that I'm responsible to steward those and use them to bless other people. And it's a great privilege. I get to use my gifts to bless people by working at things.
I think sometimes we have this negative picture of the word serving. Maybe because of the secular, we see it more like a lower level, or not an important role. But actually, Jesus said, "I came to serve." I identify with that.
And part of Equippers too, we say, leadership in the world, serving and responsibility is a burden. In the kingdom, it's a reward. Again, those parables. Well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful with this. What's the reward? Not like, oh, now sit back and relax. It's like, no, now I give you more work to do.
So true. I'm going to double the work.
Because that's the reward of faithfulness.
Wow.
And it's the nature of Jesus to serve, as you said.
Wow. This is a good point. It's like I once said, you will never get promoted beyond serving. We just serve at a different level. Like Joseph, he was serving in his father's house. He was serving in Potiphar's house. He was serving in the prison as a trustee. And then he was serving in the palace. He was always he got promoted through serving.
He's a really interesting example that you pick, because he combines the supernatural with the management, and they're both grace on his life. So he gets dreams and he interprets them, but then he's like, hey guys, this is how we're going to organize the prison. And then he's like, this is how we're going to organize the empire. Wow. So he's an organized guy. He knows actually for success, he needs to build some structure, organization, plan. And he just knows what to do and go, that's as spiritual as getting the dreams.
It's like Pastor Bruce says when he talks about faith and wisdom.
When I said 1 Corinthians, Paul talks about, I'm a wise master builder. I work at laying the foundations. I know what to work at to build something.
Wow. This is so good, Pastor. I think we need to know another one. Because people need to hear these amazing revelations that you received from the Lord concerning the house of God. And I can't wait to have you to the next show. Don't forget to subscribe. God bless you.